Yo, Lucas, give me a co-host. If like somebody comes on and is going to try to like talk over people, I'll kick them right away. I'm on my private account, so I can be a dick.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't really been I've kind of just been like letting people request stuff if they want to. I haven't really Atavism was the only person I've given speaker requests to here. I don't even know how to kick people out, but if people want to talk, I'm just letting them kind of insert themselves in conversation as they want to. I know in spaces it's always super fucking hard, especially when like you don't know people, to try and figure out when the pause is to jump in or when you can talk over people or stuff like that. I
See,
always feel weird coming up if I don't know the group.
Helios like made a lot of enemies because like he, from his own account, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna kick people indiscriminately once they like bother me." Right. And like to an extent, like that's sort of like cool. It's like, all right, now you're being a dick, you're like insulting other people, like bye bye, blocked, you're removed from the space. But like the thing is, people like hold grudges over spaces. So like if you remove somebody, like there's like incidents where like they'll start stalking you, they'll start fucking like reporting all your shit. So you need to have like a moderator, and this is why they sort of brought the co-host function,
Maybe the
because
peacekeeper.
it's like you need a private moderator as a co-host to just be like, all right, you know what, fuck this guy, I'm gonna kick him.
Be the
There's so
bouncer.
much like absurd nonsense that's been interjected in society just as a result of like navigating these weird like human social conventions. Like the entire idea of like a project manager is entirely like, and people say like, oh, it's a joke meme job or whatever, but like I think project managers, like I've dealt with a bunch of programmers by now, and like I think project managers are actually necessary in order to like, and they need to be a woman in order to have, there needs to be some sort of like a dominatrix sexual pressure on the male coders in order to get them to perform, right? Otherwise they kind of get lost in their little like autistic pursuit of endless optimization, right? Like they want to release the perfect product. They don't necessarily care about like deadlines or stuff like this. So they need the female dominatrix cracking the whip over them. But in order to get the female dominatrix, you have to build up this like absurd company culture that makes the women feel comfortable there. So it's like this whole like revamping of the idea of like the company culture just to get the coders to like understand the concept of deadlines. And like
Oh,
this
you,
is the best system that we've come up to do with it. But like
the feminine contradiction, like not to go like 100% like, you know, like woman hater mode, but like the female contradictions have been like hot and heavy and like just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Like one of the most common ones, and this was the original one, where it's like, oh, I want a man to slobber all over me and to like be like all into me, but then when they get one or two, it's like I actually don't want this. I want the guy that like is like sort of reluctantly attracted to me. It's like, all right, if you insist. But now you see it with like the fucking She-Hulk TV show, where it was like there was a scene where she's getting catcalled and it's like traumatic, and then immediately afterwards she's like twerking, and that's like empowering.
wait, what?
Yeah. There's like a
I,
scene where
I've seen I've
She-Hulk.
seen references to this She-Hulk thing. I thought it was like a nickname for some sort of like girl boss characters or like an actual
Yeah,
She-Hulk show.
yeah, it's a on that Disney Plus service because Disney owns Marvel, and it's so bad apparently that like the Reddit types are like making fun of it like crazy. And the one scene that like a lot of people, because it's like cognitive dissonance inducing inside of libtards, where it's like, oh, she was sort of like complaining about getting catcalled and being like sexually objectified, but then like immediately afterwards it's like empowering that she's twerking. And it's like a CGI monstrosity that sort of looks like Shrek's wife after she became an ogre. Yeah. Um, oh, Slada, really quick. You missed it, but me and Lucas, we went on like a deep dive on like women using SARMs and like the SARMs
Oh
goblin
yeah,
culture.
I elected against doing the SARMs, but when it came down to it,
Well, you missed the story where somebody was asking me, and I was like telling them, all right, if you have low test, try HCG or Tonga Cat Ali. If you really want to try SARMs, You can do ostarine, but don't fucking touch anything else. Don't touch Rad 140; it'll make you go bald.
Yeah.
Don't touch LGD; it's gonna shut off your balls.
Yeah.
And then he comes back to me 2 months later in the DMs, and he's like, "I went bald from Rad 140. I fucking went Norwood. Look at my hair." And it's like, you fucking stupid fuck. You did, and that's the thing. Like a lot of times, there's this weird thing where people will ask you for advice only to do specifically the opposite of what you told them.
Yeah, people are only going to listen to like what they want to hear out of your advice. Yeah, they're not gonna...
Yeah.
Usually they don't even listen to that, man. I've gotten to the point with early on with people asking for like lifting advice or something. I would always go into these like supertism like turbo rants where I would give them like I'm gonna try and convey like as much of my lifting knowledge as possible. Like I'm gonna tell you how to like perfectly hit that brachialis. I'm gonna teach you about like carbohydrate timing surrounding your like workouts. I'm gonna teach you about like when your CNS activation peaks during the day, all this stuff, bro. And I would do that, and then like they would be like, "Wow, thanks, man," and then I would just like never hear from them again, and they wouldn't even like start lifting. And eventually, I just was like, when they ask me about lifting, I'm just going to like deny ever lifting, and I'm going to like move on. Like I'm just like these people are literally like it's like a like some sort of a test from God to like see if you're willing to just like waste your time like this interacting with them.
See, I had one like super successful person. It was like this like Hispanic kid that was a groiper that fucking had Cushing syndrome, and he says he got Cushing syndrome from using Flonase. And what Cushing syndrome is
You
when you
got Cushing syndrome from using Flonase.
literally
I just
like
had a
something that
clogged nose, and now look at me. Oh, God, my life is ruined.
yeah, like literally something that has like literally like a 1 in one, like 500,000 chance, like 0.000000001.
Wait, what is this drug called?
And he was like, "I need help. I need to get my shit in order." I was like, "All right, I'm gonna like help you, dude." And I told him like, "Get first your blood work. Do you have insurance?" And he's like, "Yeah, under my parents." So I was like, "Go to an endocrinologist. You're gonna get this shit fixed." And then like fucking 9 months, 10 months, 11 months of like fucking like every once in a while, "Hey, I hope you're doing good." Fucking kid lost. He went from like fucking 310 pounds with chicken legs, and like he got his shit in order. He got like his stress hormones in order and everything, and like good for him, right? But after that, like the people that came afterwards, it was like these people that would like ask for advice or like want to like bullshit with me and like fuck with my time, knowing that they would never do like a lot of people were interested in fucking nootropics, right? Like healing brain damage or like productivity. And I was like, here's, the different stuff. And I'm learning, I'm updating, da, 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 da. And then these guys, they would be like constantly like fucking badgering me and asking me for shit. And I was like, so what's your experience? I was like, oh, I didn't do it. And it's like, what the? Why are you spending so much time asking me about this and like, like learning about it and shit, but you're not like, incorporate it was like there was this one person in particular, like nearly altogether I'd say like 12 hours of like asking me questions, not in a row, like broken up over the period of like a month. And I was like, oh, so are you gonna try this, or like, did you get good results or anything? It's like, no, I'm still learning about it.
That's so annoying, man. Like I don't know. There's also the thing of, like the repeat forums are a really good example of this, right? Where you can go and you can look through all of the stuff that they're talking about, and you see them posting and they're like describing all these like complex metabolic pathways and like, oh yeah, this hormone's going to do this thing and all of this stuff. And then you go and you look at the pictures of them that they're posting when they actually post any, and they're all fucking like 450-pound, like balding, like horribly like endocrinologically like fucked up people. Like they're all. And I think a lot of it is just that some of these people, like, like the chronic illness people, I think they just sort of emanate like a psychic field of like they're going to be victimized by their biology no matter what happens. Like they could go and fix any individual issue they have, and they will instantly develop a new one or something like that.
See, my worry about talking shit about like the repeat scene is that people are fucking tribalistic when it comes to like esoteric
Well,
diet stuff.
I should also clarify my previous statement then and say that the repeat people are not necessarily the repeat forum people. The repeat forum people are people who, because I mean the repeat forum, at least I haven't checked in on it over the last year or so, but like when I would look at the stuff that they had on there, and like I don't know, it was like in 2015 was when I first heard about repeat, and I started like looking into and trying the stuff, and it was mostly people who were so fucked up that like no sort of traditional doctor could help them in any way, and they all found their way to the repeat forum as some sort of like a final Hail Mary. And like usually the people that I see talking about it on the timeline are just like normal people. I mean, you said fucking Red Scare is talking about repeat.
Yeah, they got into it recently, and they're like pushing it now. The thing is, like, they became more and more like involved in our scene. Like, they have like friends that like people that we like follow or like interact with. Like, Dasha is now like interacting with Landshark, and it's kind of funny because like there are a lot of people who like either because it's a meme or because like they genuinely believe in it. They're like major Peters now, and they're enjoying the carrot salad and daily progesterone.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that I've noticed about those people, and I don't really like follow them too much, is basically they're very good trend forecasters. And so like they get in on the second stage, right? Like they're not willing to commit to anything when it's like super early phases, but like when they've become relatively confident that something is going to become like a mainstream trend, they'll hop on. And then they
Oh,
get
yeah.
to say they get the normie early bandwagoner clout for it. And it's generally like a really good strategy, right? Like they've done this for, I mean, this is how they've sustained their brand for the last like 5 years.
Well, you know how they have like the adoption curve where it's like you have like the 0.3% of people, those are like the freaks, like they do it way too early. Then you have the first 5%, they're like the pioneers, the trendsetters. And then you have like the 15 to 30, and then like mass adoption is like the 60%. Either like that's when it gets mass adopted or it fails, right? Like like when it comes to trends in 2015, the foodie culture, they tried to make a charcuterie out of seafood a thing, so it was like dried octopus and shit, but like that failed like massively. And you know, like it was like a micro trend, like there was like a good 5% of people, but like did not many people picked up it. Yeah, so yeah, they're a good like indicator of like the 5 to 15% level. Like they are the 5% that pushes it onto the 15, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're pretty good at it. It's funny that I don't know, girls don't like, I don't typically think of girls as discussing niche hormones, but I guess there's not really any sort of reason for that. But it was weird, like even in like scenes where like steroid use is pretty common, like the women didn't really like their brains kind of turned off whenever people were discussing like steroids or ancillaries or anything like that. And it always kind of wound up being like them saying, oh, okay, just tell me like what am I supposed to do? Like they would just ask some dude like how many milligrams of this Anavar am I supposed to take?
Yeah,
I don't care about any of this other shit. Please just tell me what I'm supposed to do.
yeah, they don't like the technical information, but like that's also why they're like such a victim to like the TikTok bandwagon, or like oh, I'm paying for what's this one? Her name is like Giselle something. She's like she's a Asta girl, but like she's like Italian, but also fucking like a OnlyFans girl, and like she fuck, I'm blanking on her name, but like she sells like a program where it's like, oh, this is my like program for like booty development and like, you know, like working out and stuff like that. And like she literally pimps out like, oh yeah, this is what you should be taking, and like literally
Oh
like
yeah, that's like the
templates.
optimal. Like that's 100% the way to go. Like provide like the sort of like daddy structuring for all of these people.
Yeah, and it's like it's I don't know how to put it without like sounding like, you know, like super like, you know, woman hater or anything, but like women really are like influent, like they're primed to like like the alpha bitch and also like the man are able to like direct women to do like things that are like not in their best interest. like almost like border collies with like a flock of sheep, if that makes sense. I'm glad none of my like female friends are like inside the space right now, because I'd be getting fucking chided. Like, it's like, I can't believe you fucking said that. It's sort of true.
Would they really get mad at it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they would.
Huh. So I see we've got a nice tweet up here from T3 Maxi, shared by Slatavism, about
What is we going to revisit the repeat topic.
Had some pineapple today. Tongue started to bleed a little and went numb. 40 minutes later, serotonin thoughts creeped in, went full hypothyroid mode. Eating some honeydew with coffee right now, feeling much better. This is like, this guy, I don't know, I followed him for a little while, and the posts were just so fucking funny. It was like if I did my sort of like weird creative writing outreach journals, but like I replaced any sort of event that would have caused me to have emotions with like a very specific food as like the core of like what was causing me to experience anything in life. And it's just all like everything comes back to the specific thing that he ate 30 minutes before. All of these things can be tied together. Like, you don't experience life as an accumulation of moments, actions, anything like that. You experience life as a collection of the digestion of the last thing that you've consumed.
See, that's like a few of the stuff. That's like a few of the things that I don't understand about like the Peter culture. Like, one of them is the hatred of certain types of fish and like seafood rules. Like,
isn't it all literally just boiled down to like fish have PUFA? I thought it was that simple. Maybe I'm being reductionist to these Peters. I don't know. I know I've been dancing around. I generally like, when I learned about Ray Pete and all of this stuff in 2015, I read a bunch of what he said. I listened to a bunch of his journals and stuff, and I generally like, it sounded good, and I was like impressed by his ability to put together theories on all of this stuff that seemed to be interrelated. But then when I actually tried any of his actionable advice, I felt like dog shit. So, you know, like I think it's one of those things where like you can have a great deal of understanding of hormones, but like you need a really, really, really great understanding of hormones to develop actionable advice that's like able to be broadly applied without like the average person having an equivalent understanding. Yeah. So I'm just going to do what makes me feel good. And it turns out that eating 300 grams of white sugar a day doesn't actually make me feel very good. It makes me look shitty and bloated, and it fucks my skin up.
Yeah, whatchamacallit, the sugary drinks thing and like soda as like medicine. I mean, soda was medicine at one point, but the thing is like, there's like Peters out there who are like now saying, fuck, I don't want to get in trouble, but the high fructose corn syrup isn't actually as bad for you as everybody says. Shit like that. And the thing is, it's like, man, and I get it. When something becomes popular, like, retards infiltrate and start like, you know, like ruining it, right? And the thing is, like, my fear is once you start talking shit about something that's like very tribalistic and you're like marked as an enemy, that's when you have to worry about like, oh shit, is some asshole gonna fucking try to dox me now, or some fucking crazy person gonna try to like
take the idea of getting doxed because I said that Ray Pete suggesting I consume 300 grams of sugar a day is silly is super funny, man.
Yeah, I mean, it happened before with and like the thing is, like, I support like the raw milk stuff, but when like raw milk became like a libertarian thing, somebody was like, well, you know, like a lot of raw milk has like shit inside of it, right? Like literally, like cow shit is like contaminating inside. And I'm a big raw milk supporter. Like, I fucking love like a raw milk burrata, and I'll like go actually pick up like,
right, yeah, like I've got my Amish milk dealer for the raw milk, but like I'm also like, that is true.
And the thing is, like, the person was like, oh, you're gonna say that, like, and the person took it as like an raw milk. Like like they took it as like, oh shit, like you're like attacking the whole scene, and literally like docs like this like anonymous guy. This was like back in like 2015 before like the alt-right or anything like became like a thing. Like it was just like a Canadian. Like two Canadian libertarians going at each other because of fucking raw milk.
I remember you were telling me about this guy who you were friends with him, and then you retweeted something about how like liver doesn't really taste good, and he was like, "Fuck you, dude. Do you know how much this has done for my health? Do you know how much this has saved me?" Take that back.
Yeah, the screenshots of that. Well, I mean, another thing, like I got in trouble with mushroom Twitter for like asking a question about lion's mane.
For wait, what? I'm sorry, I was laughing too much. I heard mushroom Twitter, and then it all cut out in a surge of cackling.
Yeah, like I asked about lion's mane, and there's like a mushroom group chat. It's like like a mycology group chat, like people who like grow mushrooms and like big mushroom like proselytizers and like talk to other people about shrooms. Oh, all I asked was, does lion's mane taste like crab? I am like a big crustacean enthusiast. Is this true? Like, you know, I've been lied to in the past before. Nobody fucking answered. And then I made like a joke, like as a follow-up, and was like, wow, all of mushroom Twitter, all these mushroom people, they're like real quiet right now, like completely like joking around, like fucking around, messing around. And then they're like in the group chat, they're like, fuck this guy, this is an attack on us. And like one guy, he was messing around, he was like, we need to kill him. Like, hold on, I like posted the thing on fentanyl blow dart. Yeah. So the thing is, like, people, and it's like a weird thing where like people take like the diet stuff and like the lifestyle stuff more seriously than politics. Oftentimes, it's like,
yeah, everybody is so post politics that they've now like subseded all politics onto like weird proxy outlets like milk. I remember the funniest post I think I ever saw was when do you remember like Alima?
Yeah.
So one time Alima posted saying that like
oh, we lost him there.
oh, did I cut out?
Yeah, it's fine though.
Oh, okay. Well, so Alima basically posted one time saying like pasteurized milk is still good too, and then somebody responded with like this big infographic saying like, no, it's not. It has this many fewer nutrients and this much less protein, and it's this much less digestible than raw milk. And he was like, okay, but it's still better than like most of what you're eating. And he was like, look, he like kept reposting the infographic and saying, look, like the numbers are lower. Like it was just this really, really weird thing of
I remember that debate, dude, because SpinachBrah hopped in and he posted basically like 2 weeks after raw milk has been left out. And it's like clumpy, it's like rotten. And he's like, 2 weeks after pasteurized milk has been left out, and it's like a little more rotten. And I'm like, what does this prove? Like, you gonna be eating that rotten milk? And you gonna be,
yeah,
that was one of the funniest things that I ever saw was the comparison of just the two all over. And I've linked that to so many people in implication that it like proves some argument. And I haven't ever directly said what I was trying to imply with it. I just would send it to them with no context and just let them try to infer what I'm saying.
Oh man, yeah. One thing that is like great is nobody has been fucking attacking us. Like none of my spies have been like messaging me that like, oh yeah, we went after Raw Pete or we went after SpinachBrah. Like,
dude, I unironically like love SpinachBrah. I would never go after him. He's actually like a cool guy.
Yeah, he had like a redemption arc where like there was a time when everybody was clowning on him. And now, like, a lot of people... And I also like the guy. Like, he's, like, funny.
I never clowned on him because I am an extreme contrarian. So when I realized that everybody was clowning on him and I could be pro SpinachBrah and piss everybody off, it was, like, some sort of heaven-sent gift.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. I also agree with that because, like, sometimes I'll see, like, a trend pop off and I wasn't, like, on the ground floor for it. And I'll be like, you know what? Fuck this. I don't want to get involved. Fuck this shit.
Yeah, I like having really unprincipled stances on stuff too. Like a lot of people will be like, well, why don't you support this? What's your problem with this? And it's just like, I I think it's stupid. I have no deeper reasoning.
Fuck, man. Oh, was repeatforum.com.
Yeah.
Do we have? Oh, are we sharing more now?
I'm sharing all of my repeat related tweets to boost engagement.
They're not showing up here.
I think
I'm realizing right now. So I made a solution of I read somewhere that said like if I make a solution of 10% bleach and 90% water and I spray it on stuff, I'll be able to disinfect it without dyeing the color of anything. And I'm now looking at my carpet in all of the areas that I've sprayed it on. And it appears that I've been lied to. I think I'm going to need to recarpet my house, is what it's seeming like.
Oh fuck, man. Well, I had like an incident with that because, like, you know, I live inside New York City, the bug pod, and I have like 3 pets. So the thing is, like, even though they're all potty trained and like they're all good, like the Morkie, the little one, the one that you would expect to be like the least damageable, like she's the one because it has the smallest bladder. That's the one that causes the most damage and the most piss. And like I had a fucking $4,000 rug, a nice ottoman rug. That's her bathroom, and it's like I put wee wee pads all over it. I'm like, no, you're going inside the naughty baby dungeon. I like spray bottled her. She loves to fucking piss on my rug, and I'm gonna have to fucking toss this rug. I'm like so.
I recently bought a 365 nanometer UV light so that I can go around my house inspecting for places where cats have pissed on. See if I can find any that way. You should do the same. You should get a black light to go around detecting cat fluids everywhere.
Well, see, the Turkish van, the cat, he doesn't like spray. He doesn't pit. He uses the litter box. He's fucking fantastic. Probably the best cat I've ever owned of the 3 that I had. The Dutch Shepherd, he's a big dog, but he gets his exercise. I walk him 3 times a day. He uses the wee wee pad. Like Shadow is a fucking like the best dog I've ever had. But the little girl, and there's like a thing with like it's like the Dennis the Menace effect. When something's small and cute, when it like behaves badly, it's like endearing. But that's the one that, like, you know, that destroy. I can't have nice things because of this fucker. And I don't know what I'm gonna do other than just like I feel like a chud jack right now, like, you know, like the new soy jack that like is always mad and like pink faced and red. Like that's how I feel with this little dog.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about dogs, man. I got all my cats and I put out litter boxes and they just instantly use them perfectly.
See, dogs, they like are, how can I put it, more affectionate, but they're also like higher maintenance in certain respects. Like when I went to Europe for 4 months for work, I had to like ask friends and family, like, oh, can you like rotate around? Like, can you watch them for this month and then that month?
Yeah, no.
And,
This was what I started off the space with, was because I was dying from COVID, and I was explaining the story of how I got my cats, and it was basically because like I needed low maintenance animals, right? Like dogs, like I can't just fuck off for a week and leave dogs alone with some food. With cats, it's like whatever. Like you leave them the food, they eat the food, they poop in the boxes, you come back, you clean the boxes. Everything is fine. Dogs go insane and they just start like eating your furniture. They develop like anxiety disorders.
yeah, separation anxiety.
Yeah.
Yep. And the thing with like dogs, right? Like you have to, if you're somebody who does like business trips and stuff, that they do have like this pet industry of like doggy hotels and like kennels and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
but like at the same time, I feel like you don't know if they're gonna be mistreated, and I do sort of like treat my pets like my substitute for children. You know, like I'm 29 years old. I should already have fucking kids,
The
but like
dog father.
dog and cat father, yeah, and I don't know. But that's also like a thing you see among like millennials and the older Zoomers. Like, before they have kids, it's almost like the training wheels. Like you have your fur babies.
That's going to be the cope that I'm using. I'm going to start telling everyone I'm preparing for children. That's why I keep accumulating cats.
Well, see, the thing is also like it's like I don't know if you guys saw that video of like the morbidly obese guy with like the she's like an Australian woman.
Hi. What's We're getting into echo.
Yeah, somebody's echoing a little bit.
Is it me?
Huh.
Hello? Yo, Lucas, you're like echoing a little bit. I think you're cupping your mic.
Is it better now?
It sounds like you're 100 feet away.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think you're like covering.
I just turned off Bluetooth on my phone, which I realized had been on for this whole time, and it changed something about the speakers, and I guess now all of my words are echoing. Let's see if we turn it back.
Fixes it.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh yeah, it's good now.
So why the fuck is it Bluetooth?
What model phone you got?
I have the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G.
I think that is like a thing you see with like fucking Android phones. Like there's like random things with Twitter because like Twitter is less optimized for Android than it is for iOS, and that's the least optimized for desktop and Safari. But anyway, what I was gonna say about like the morbidly obese Australian guy, there's like this like video of like this like disgustingly fat, morbidly obese Australian, and like he has like this like average to above average, but like fit like a cute wife, right? And she's like making him a smoothie with like spinach and pineapple, and he's like performatively like making faces like yeah, like a little fucking kid. And then when she feeds it to him, like it's like, yeah, have it from the Starbucks cup. It's like your favorite cup. He like spits it out on the counter and like gets it on himself. I'm gonna like share it to the jumbotron on the space, but it's like
Was that like a TikTok or something? Or is it like a?
hold up. What's beautiful about like spaces is you're able to like watch a video without it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold up. I just shared it. Let me know when you guys get to the part when he starts spitting it out.
I don't see it. Is it on? Is on? Okay, here it is now.
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of a pussy spit out, man.
Well,
like he's such a big guy, and that was such a small amount of fluid. Like his cheeks look like they could expand to hold out like 100 times that volume that he spit out.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say, and using him as an example, that guy is like the male version of what people would call a mistake relationship, where it's like, you know, when college dropouts get into like college, and then what ends up happening is they because they drop out, they're taking up a seat from like somebody that wanted to be there and preventing like that person from like, you know, actually like like, you know, enjoying the privilege of being at that school. Well, like with mistake relationships, they're like, these are people who are like genetic dead ends that should not be like, you know, they shouldn't be like interacting with normal people and like wasting normal people's time.
Yeah, like this is
What
now a
keeps it
guy
together,
who's
though?
achieved a girlfriend that he doesn't deserve.
Yeah.
But there's got to be something there. There's got to be something that's perpetuating the relationship. What it is? What is it? Is he rich? Is he?
Well, there are just some like girls that like they don't care about like because for most women like attraction comes from status, right? And status is like an amalgamation of features. It's like your height, your physique, your job, your education level. It's like all these things come together to form an aggregate, and then that's what your status is. Whereas like attraction for men, it's sort of like the Don Juan, James Bond, sailor at every port thing of like, novelty and variety, right? But the thing is, monogamy is sort of like the compromise between those two like different biological impulses. And the thing that ends up happening with these like fucked up people, they are like getting into like relationships and wasting these people's time, and then when the relationship is over, like the person comes out of it jaded. They're like, sometimes like a really nice person is gonna be like, I'm never gonna love again, or it takes like years for them to fucking recover. And the thing that's kind of fucked up is like there's more of these like genetic dead ends of both genders now than ever, and like they're like fucking up so many other people and like transferring their scars onto like previously normal and healthy people.
Well, the really weird thing is everyone's so black-pilled about like dating overall right now that like they don't like exit from these situations. Like I currently have more female friends who are in relationships with guys who they like don't want to reproduce with than ever before in my life. And it's just like, what's the idea? Like, why are you dating this person who like, where do you think this is going to go? Because like eventually you're going to break up. And when you break up, you're going to take like a year of being like a sorry whiny bitch, basically, until you get yourself back together to try again. And it's like you're not really at the age where you can afford to be burning like 2 years of your dating life like this, right? Like what's
Yeah.
the idea? But they're like, well, like I don't want to break up because like what if there's no one else? And it's like I don't.
No, see, I'm like the male example of that. From my thing is, I'm super open about my L's, right? Like most people, they like front online, like they're like, oh yeah, like I'm this like uber mensch or uber woman that like I'm Teflon, nothing sticks to me, and like they front that like, oh shit, like nothing bad ever happened to them. Whereas like I'll say like, yeah, I got into a relationship with a girl that had a comorbidity of BPD and NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. I was like codependent with her, and I thought I was gonna marry her. I got like all these pets, but the thing was like she ended up like fucking using me as like a piggy bank, constantly fucking cheating. When we broke up, I like gave money to her dad, like I gave her dad $15,000 to like help him out, and like all this fucking shit. And like like in group chats people would be like, man, you're a fucking idiot. And yeah, I do deserve the criticisms for that kind of shit, right? But at the same time, it's like, these mistakes happen. And after I got out of that fucking nightmare relationship for a good 2 years, I was like, you know what, I hate all women. I'm never gonna get into a relationship again. I'm only going to put like miles on my soul and like accumulate bodies. But I was never more miserable in my life after that. And these people that like they scar and harm other people, they they sort of should be like sectioned off and like carted off from the rest of
Yeah,
society,
like
because like
they've got to be put in like a weird quarantine zone until they like get over their thing.
yeah, because like the thing is, it's like, oh, this person fucking ruined you, and now it's like either you close up and it's like you become wary of the world, or it's like I now everybody is like this, I don't trust anybody, and I'm going to be like a selfish asshole, like I was hurt, so I'm going to like fucking take this out on other people. And I don't know, like I feel like that's what's going to end up happening with this, because like whenever you see like a good girl ending up with like a fucking like just like human detritus male,
Yeah,
what
she
ends up
doesn't usually stay a good girl.
yeah. And it's also likewise with like the guy, and I know this is like kind of like basic bitch 101, like like it's almost like trite and Reddit talking points at this point, but like it's like, if you are with like a severely mentally ill woman that when you guys break up, she's gonna like join a polycule, or she's gonna become like a sex worker and start like slinging her shit on like OnlyFans, or going on like seeking arrangements to be a sugar baby, like that guy is going to like fall into like PUA shit, and is gonna be like, all right, you know what? Or like even worse, the effective stuff like lookism, and get into like looks maxing. I don't know, like I've been like thinking about this a lot, like I've been like ruminating and like shape rotating, and like I don't know, the whole the whole like dealing with these people that like are sort of like a cancer, like a free radical, and like infecting other people with their bad traits. Anyway, sorry for like going on this huge tangent, fellas.
No, man.
A woman's highest ideal is mate selection.
Is that Oniki? Is that a...
What?
Oh no, sorry, it's Sisyphus. What's up?
Oh, I just said a woman's highest ideal is mate selection.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, so I don't know. The other thing I will say is when you're super open about your L's, some people are gonna find you really relatable, whereas other people, what they're gonna do is they're gonna like screenshot it and then like
Right, and they're gonna pretend that it's never happened to them either, and they're gonna this is like the biggest thing for me with like guys talking about any sort of dating stuff. Like every single guy who is good with girls had to make like a series of like at least 3 or 4 very specific, very common, extremely embarrassing dating fuck ups in order to get there, right? Like there's nobody who was born on this earth who just like knew how to handle it all. Like everybody had to get their shit kicked in some sort of specific, very embarrassing way in order to figure it out. And so when you meet the guys who are just like, you should just know this, like,
Yeah.
it's not
beforehand. That was no.
Honestly, like picking up chicks is 100% sales. So like if you're a good salesman, like you can get chicks like super easy. And I don't know, I think sales, in my opinion, like there is like kind of a binary to it. Like you can like, you know, knock on doors all day, but like if you don't know how to sell, you know, there is a little bit like something like you kind of already, you have it or you don't, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, like, I told this to Heavy Washing, like, he agreed 100%. Like, it's easy to, you know, a lot of people psych themselves out. And, like, Score also, like, he talked about this with the concept of, like, incel too, whereas, like, the person that doesn't want to, like, get into, like, hookups and shit, it's easy to, like, get.
Is incel 2 just volcel? Is that what everyone's...
Volcel, basically.
Pointless distinction.
But like with like vol cells, right? Like it's like there's a lot of people who are like disgusted by like, you know, like hookup culture and shit like that. But what ends up happening, like it is easy to like, you know, I don't know how to put it. Like once you like get the icebreaker, it's like easy to like, you know, get with people, right? But like it's hard to like actually get into like a relationship with a good person, right? Like it sounds so cliche and so like trite and like Hollywood, like, you know, like, oh, this guy is like talking and like but then again, a lot of dudes like they just they're in like this like world where it's like all women are the enemy and shit like that. And like I don't know, it's maybe it's because like I'm a little older, but like I didn't have that experience of like where it's like I feel like everybody is like a lost cause, and I sort of experienced that over the pandemic when like OnlyFans blew up, and like this girl like came up to me and was like, "You're my gym crush," and like we like started talking. I was like, "Wow, she's cute," and then like I found out that she like has like a OnlyFans account and something called like a Net Stars, and was like basically like a pornographer. I was like, the fuck is this? And she was like only like 23, 24 years old. And I was like, fuck, man, this is what Zoomers are dealing with, dude. And I don't know. I can only imagine what like women are dealing with too. Like, it's like, does this guy have like a masturbation addiction? Is he into like some weird like hentai like fucking shit? I don't know. Like, things fucked up right now.
I can only speak for California girls specifically, but like it feels like you have to be like at least a little bit evil to like be successful with women. Like even if you're a good guy, like you have to like put on a front. I don't know, that's just my experience.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
I've always, I don't know, my relation with like the whole sales thing is like you can, in the same way that like sales is essentially like broad appeal to the average person, and you essentially like any product that you're selling, you go through and you have basically a flow chart, right? Eventually after like 2 months of sales, 2 months of like cold call or like door knocking or any other sales where you're like basically going up to the average person, you basically develop a flow chart mentally of how the conversation is going to go, what you're going to be saying,
Yeah. How the
how
person's gonna be feeling at that point in time, and where you got.
yeah, and you just keep sort of like pen testing all of these new responses and seeing which has like the highest success rate, and then when that one is, it replaces whatever the old branch on your little flowchart was. And it's like the same thing with being like broadly appealing to women, and like you can do that if you want, and it like works and stuff, but it's just boring as shit, right? Like it's not, you're never going to meet anyone that's like interesting to you if you do that, because
If you
just
use
like
your basic.
selecting for success is not selecting for entertainment, and selecting for amusement is always going to be obviously like more entertaining to you than selecting for, can I have sex with this girl?
Yeah, well, that's the situation I'm in right now. If I'm like right now, like basically I've fallen for this like kind of like mimi trad girl that like is like in the conservative sphere, and like she's funny. Like if you follow my other account, you know who it is. Like it's like an open secret that like I adore this person, but like the thing is like all the smoothness fucking left my body once I started talking to her, and like I'm like goofing on like random fucking things, and it's like I genuinely really like this person, like I adore this person, I don't want them to leave my life, like I could see myself like building a life with them, and like it's like I'm fucking like I'm making rookie mistakes. I'm simping hardcore, but then at the same time, like this is like a special person that's like sending me videos like the unbiased history of Rome, and like like we can like talk shit about like random shit. Like they have
This
like
is like not at all what I would have expected you would go for.
like one of the things is like I don't know, I got so used to like wearing a mask with like girls from like the indie nexus of like emo, post-hardcore, and hardcore, or like dating people from my gym, or basically like pretending to be a normie, and like the serial monogamy of living in New York City where like you're in a relationship from 3 to 9 months before uncoupling, and like I got used to that, and it was like I sort of became like super jaded. And now I met this person that's like, oh shit, I want to get traditional with this person. I want to get trad with them. And now it's like, fuck, dude, I'm like fucking up. I'm like a teenager in love. I got like the butterflies in my tummy and shit. Somebody put a bullet in my fucking brain.
I want to go back to what Lucas was saying about the flowchart. I mean, like, it's definitely like a quantity versus quality thing. Like, if you want to pick up a 9, you gotta like know how, you gotta make the sales pitch. But the best salesmen, they're not just like knocking doors. They're like selling like yachts. So like they'll sell one yacht like every 3 years or whatever. So I don't know. Just like you need the baseline of like game if you want to like score the good chicks, in my opinion.
Yeah. Coach, want to weigh in? Coach Bruce Wrangler, have any game advice?
I have a suspicion that Bruce is not actually at his phone right now, and he has simply left it on with his hand up, and he's wandered off into the distance. I could be wrong though. I would love to be surprised. This has been a long fucking space already. I can tell because like after the first 2 hours, my brain used up its public performance glycogen stores, and I've kind of been in a sort of ketogenic state right now. I haven't been able to muster as high quality of jokes. My laughs have been a little forced. Like everything has been, a little subdued. I don't want to say overall just shittier, but some in the audience might describe it that way.
L-carnitine will help.
That's available in your Monster White Energy drinks.
Yo, I had like 3 Monster Whites like in the beginning of the space. I was like super fucking like jittery from it.
Yeah,
I'm actually
crack one open.
I gotta find, dude. I'm in like, okay, so I'm in my bathroom right now. I have all of my subs that I accumulated during my early like 2010s fitness thing. The only problem is the supplement game has moved on so much that all of these fucking dinosaur supplements no longer interest me, right? So I no longer have any desire to keep around stuff like fucking dandelion root. People don't take this shit anymore, man. It's just
That's
I
funny
have
that there are phases and seasons of different fad supplements just based on like what these companies thought they could market or they did.
Oh yeah, horny goat weed was like the prime example of it. Everybody was like, "This is gonna be like Viagra," and
This is the game changer, man. Horny goat weed.
it didn't work. What was another one? Oh, when 2011, I graduated high school. That's when the pro hormone shit was happening with like GNC, and like kids were
oh
like getting
yeah.
pro hormones. And then the thing was like those pro hormones fucked up people. Like people's heights were like diminished. Some people got like man tits from that was a nightmare scenario.
Well, nobody knew that shit was steroids.
Even worse because it didn't work. It was the metabolites of steroids. It was like
It was like that was the weirdest thing. Like I had so many people at in my high school. Basically, like the entire high school wrestling team was all on some sort of pro hormone, and then they all wound up like getting typical steroid problems. And they were like, "I don't understand. Like I just bought this at GNC." And
Yeah,
like
why
the
they tell you,
GNC
like,
people never told them that you have to like, oh, you have to do PCT after this pro hormone. And if they did, they didn't give them like actual PCT. They said like, here's milk thistle.
I heard they used to have like Superdrol or like these weird.
Fuck, dude, I forgot about Superdrol. Holy shit.
Yep, the Superdrol was like a.
That used to be legal, didn't it? Superdrol used to be fucking legal.
That's so crazy, man.
Superdrol, because Superdrol was like one of the only pro hormones that was so like it worked so well that people actually like kept it around. Like people will still to this day seek out Superdrol over like actual proven steroids.
Yeah, compared to other PEDs, people will go for Superdrol. What's another? A Vitamin Shoppe in New York got fucked. Like they got in trouble because they were selling this like height supplement that had actual MK677 inside of it, and like teenagers were fucking buying it. And Vitamin Shoppe got fucked in New York. It was like 2010 to 2012. But it was like typical supplement company like bullshit. It was like they had the active ingredient and then like all this other shit.
Yeah.
The funniest thing about supplement companies was realizing that like they are literally like entirely unregulated.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the one thing I tell people is like there's few supplements that actually do shit, like vitamin D, right? Like that actually works. You have to take it for 30 days for the effect to kick in, but it works. Tudka, or Tudka, however you pronounce it, like repairing the liver.
That's a nice pronunciation. I haven't heard that one before. Tudka. That's a pretty fun one to say. I think I'm gonna stick with that one.
Yeah, well, that one, like all these people, the binge drinking, dude, like I know people that are like my age or like a couple years younger, like 29 to 27, and they look like late 30s because like they fucking like Jägermeister had their field day with them, dude, and I don't know, I never really took the liver seriously, but when you see somebody that has like chronic long-term liver damage and like what it does to their face, their like eyes are yellow, they got like the pot belly and shit. It's like it's horrifying. It's like, yo, you used to be like good looking, dude, or you used to be like a really good looking girl, and oh man, I don't know. It's sad to see your friends fall apart, like people that you used to be like friends with and like hung out with, and like watching them like become shells of themselves. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm looking through my closet here. I found BCAAs. Do any of you kids fucking remember BCAAs? Back in my day.
They never did anything for me. I remember taking them in every like pre-workout drink I would make, and it just
scam.
like it just did absolutely nothing.
It makes you lose muscle. If you didn't know that, BCAAs are catabolic because it's not a complete chain of amino acids. So what ends up happening is all these people, they use BCAAs before fasted cardio, and then what happens is to like get the other amino acids for muscle building, the body will rip them off of pre-existing contractile tissue. So people were like using BCAAs for months on end, and it was like, I'm not growing or I'm getting smaller. It turns
I
out.
I remember my friend was trying to tell me that creatine was a steroid and that I should just take BCAAs.
That is so funny how
It was
every
the most
single like
random
normie,
shit.
when they talk about creatine, dude, they ask you like, oh, you like, are you on it, dude? Are you cycling it? Are you like? It's totally like a drug to most people.
Oh, again
Dude,
with
my
TikTok.
girlfriend asked me about creatine the other day because she was reading about it. She found something about it like regulating your like mental health or something.
She
Oh
saw
yeah,
the
yeah.
Benjamin Braddock tweet.
That guy Benjamin Braddock was in here. He wrote like because there is a study that says like
Oh yeah, that
creatine
it was more effective at treating
Outperforming.
depression than SSRIs.
SSRIs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the creatine thing, there's like a trend on TikTok right now where it's like all these people are there's actually like a sound because how it works, how the app works is like there's like sounds that you can use like music memes and you can make your own video with them. There's one where it's like somebody like in like a generic like video game announcer voice is like eat your or drink your creatine and then like hard style plays right
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah. It was funny. They basically like revived, you know, old parts of culture, old parts of fitness culture to make this new. I don't know.
I think one of the most like hit or miss, like I guess supplement industries is nootropics because there's so many just redundant like random supplements that won't do shit. But I noticed I have like pretty bad attention problems. It's probably from being on my phone and like chronic nicotine usage. But I tried it's like some nootropic focused like herbal supplement thing with it has saffron and ginkgo biloba leaf extract, and I found that it actually like it had like a very slight but like noticeable difference in focus. Like I felt like less of an urge to pick up my phone. It was easier to just like it didn't make me like instantly focus like ADHD treating amphetamines would, but like that makes you feel like a robot. This just made focusing like more seamless.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm still going through. I'm actually I've been sidetracked into organizing my bathroom supplement cabinet now, and I found my ginkgo biloba and huperzine A. And I was gonna tell you guys, ginkgo biloba, this is like literally like a 90s grandpa supplement. Like this is shit that I learned about from my grandpa because his wife was like, "You keep forgetting your goddamn car keys. Like take these fucking memory supplements." And he was like, "I started taking these goddamn memory supplements, and God, you wouldn't believe it. I can remember everything now. You've got to try this shit." So I started taking it, and I think ginkgo biloba is actually like fucking based. I love this shit. I'm shilling ginkgo biloba to everyone here.
And the
Yeah.
huperzine A, I've taken that too. That works. That's actually a legit thing.
Yeah,
It's like,
huperzine
actually
A I got
focus.
because after I got my brain hemorrhage, I was frantically Googling what sort of shit do I eat to reverse the brain damage that I've given myself with this brain hemorrhage, and huperzine A made the list. I probably
like
combined
choline.
enough things that have like non-combinable effects that I amplified whatever brain damage I gave myself, but I like to not think about that.
I like there's like a form like N-acetyl choline. I noticed that has like a slight effect, but like when it comes to the nootropics, like the horror stories are the ones that work the best. Like the one if you ever go on like the nootropics Reddit, everybody is like, oh, Adamax is like the closest thing to the Limitless pill. The Limitless was like this like early 2010s movie with Bradley Cooper about a guy who like gets an experimental nootropic that like actually works. And the funny thing is like America and me and Slatavism talked about this in the DMs, but like America is like way behind the pharmaceutical nootropics compared to the Soviet Union. Well, when it was still around, now it's Russia and China. Because like Semax, like Cmax, Semax, it's like a nasal spray. It's a protein. It's a peptide that it breaks through the blood-brain barrier when it's absorbed through your like nasal mucus, and it has like a similar effect. It has the same mechanism of action to dexedrine in that you have your parasympathetic nervous system and then your sympathetic nervous system, and it affects the one that doesn't affect fight or flight, but your concentration and your
That's
ability
exactly, yeah. I tried it, dude. That's exactly how I describe it. Because you're very focused, but you're not like twitchy or you know what I mean. Like
like nervous energy. It's
Yeah.
just a smooth focus. Yeah.
Where'd you get it? Did you have to go to some sketchy research chem site?
Yeah.
See,
Nice.
see with
Was it like one of those things you can buy a lifetime supply for like $50?
No.
Nah. You can get from like China or Russia, because like the thing is, like inside of China or Russia, they don't like Adderall. They don't like amphetamine salts as a nootropic, whereas in America and to a lesser extent like uh Canada and the UK, you know, you can get like amphetamine salt based medication as a nootropic, whereas China, Russia, and a lot of the countries in their sphere, they're like, well, I'd rather take this peptide because it doesn't have like that dirty stimulant feeling that you get from like an Adderall, which is like 50-50 levanthoamphetamine and dextroamphetamine. But the thing with the Semax is there's like these like versions of it that are more powerful than the base one. Like you have like ones that are absorbed better or like last in your system longer. Adamax is the most powerful one, but that's the one that's like so hard to get your fucking hands on. And people, when they describe it, they're like, this is life changing. I'm able to operate on like a level that I wasn't able to previously. Like everything just like works. And then because it's like hard to get your hands on, and the supply lines for Adamax are like fucked up, like the companies that sell them go out of business. Like Science Bio was like the most recent one, and they went out of business. You'll see like these like posts, like these like sky is falling Chicken Little posts, and it's like my life is falling fucking apart. The other versions are not as strong, they're not as powerful. I can't fucking do my job. I can't be the father that I was previously. I'm getting fired from my job. My wife is leaving me. They're like literally like the sky is fucking falling. My life is ruined, and that's why I had that like thread where like I described Adamax as like the was it the not the left hand path, but the double-edged sword of nootropics, because it is the most effective one. But if you get used to that shit and you lose your ability to use it, ooh, everything you built up is gonna start fucking falling apart.
Does it do the same thing that like amphetamines do, where it sort of like turbo nukes your creativity and you like lose all ability to have like divergent thought?
Yeah, and you just like go in one direction for 3 hours.
Yeah. Like you become totally unable. Like I don't know. Normally, I feel like if I think of like any given thought as having the ability to branch like 90 degrees in either direction, it just felt like my ability to branch in a changed direction on amphetamines is like 1 or 2 degrees. Like it's very, it has to be very, very similar to like whatever the root thought was.
The trade-off with activating, I believe it's your, I don't want to misspeak, but someone can correct me, but I think it's the parasympathetic, the one that is your concentration shit. When you activate that one, your skill acquisition goes up, your reaction time goes up, but your creativity goes down, and your ability to like do like the shape rotating shit goes down. But because your skill acquisition goes up, there's like certain athletes that will use Semax as like a doping agent. Like I believe that's one of the things that the more plates, more dates video on what does LeBron James take, and he's like talking about like, oh yeah, he what was it, growth hormone or some sort of growth hormone secretagogue, and then he was like, I also suspect that he's taking Semax.
I went. This is completely anecdotal, but I had took it earlier in the day one day, and then in the evening I went for a run, and I felt like, I don't know. It just felt like there was no reason for me to ever stop. I feel like I could just keep going at like such a pace. You know what I mean? It was definitely like a performance enhancer in a weird kind of way.
Yeah,
like in a mental faculty, not exactly in a physical faculty. Like
some people say that when you use it, your pain receptors are also numb slightly, so like you have greater pain tolerance. I don't know. When I've used it, like I didn't get that effect, but like it has helped me like learn stuff faster. Like even as like a older guy, like
neuroplasticity declining.
Yeah, I wasted my neuroplasticity on like all these like empires and like historical shit and whatever LARP that people were talking about. But it has helped me with that, and it's helped me with like staying focused and on track. Like it's like, oh, it's really easy to do like 45 minutes of hit on a stationary bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah, I
retain
find
the
basically like my thought with all of the stuff that helps me stay focused is that like all of the parts of my brain that are like high percentile outlier at any sort of thing.
You've cut out.
Do you guys believe in MBTI?
A little bit. I don't place like an enormous amount of stock in it, but
What's your types?
I've been described. I've been INTJ. You know, I'm a dark sigma.
Yeah, I'm with you on the dark sigma. INTJ.
INTJ Sigma male.
Yeah.
No further questions.
Going back to nootropics, one thing that's like kind of like the most basic form of nootropics is like caffeine and L-theanine, and like for a while I couldn't really tell if it was if it was doing anything, but I think I was just consuming like so many different things that it was just hard to notice like small differences like that. And I did
No, it
kind of
works.
notice it does reduce like jitters and stuff.
Yeah. Ideally, though, you don't need any of it. Like ideally, because you know when you take something, you are borrowing energy from your future. You're borrowing energy from the next day. So ideally, you just want to have this smooth plane of smooth energy. You don't have to be excited and then drop down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's where the breathing exercises come in.
Yeah.
There's like these people because like according and this is really controversial in like the medical field. Like people are all at a conference, a fist fight almost broke out about it. You're supposed to like if you take Adderall, right? You're supposed to like do 4 days on and then like 2 or 3 days off, right? Like 4 or 5 days on, but you need that break, or else what ends up happening is you down regulate the receptors and it becomes less effective. And then that's why you have like people who have like 50 milligram prescriptions or
we
that's
talked
fucking
about
robot
other
mode.
space. The guy has like a 75 milligram and he like can't get out of bed until he takes it.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I think I've told you this
You
about
mentioned that. Yeah, that was a callback.
I had like an ex roommate who had like he literally had like 120 milligram subscription or prescription, something that was like I had never seen anything like it before. But he had literally been on the shit since he was like 9 years old. He was like a 320-pound man, like he was like 6'8", just fucking enormous. He worked. So we were in college together, and he worked as a bouncer part-time. And he literally could not accomplish anything. Like he would not be able to get out of bed without his meds. He would just start repeating the same stories over and over. And he would like approach me, tell me a story. Like, bro, like I bought these subs for my car, man. They're going to come in and it's going to be on.
Yep. Yep.
Is there a reason he keeps cutting out? I don't
No,
know.
that's he's imitating how that guy's conversations would go.
Okay.
Did I cut out again? I've been cutting out a ton ever since I fucking turned off my Bluetooth thing.
But no, dude, like 1000%. Like you did cut out like near the end, but like the thing is like I've known these people. I've seen them where they have like it's the ones who can't function is like they have the 75 milligram or like 50 milligram extended release, because extended release fucks up your sleep too.
Dude, this is like our autistic fixation, man. Like every time we have a space, I swear we always somehow circle back to this topic. Like
well, it's like a certain thing where anytime you get like a group of people together, there's like a centering pull of the conversation between the group of you. And with me, Slata, and FentanylBrah, we wind up always talking about the sort of nootropics, and I wind up trying to mine FentanylBrah for information.
Well, the thing is, like, so much of our economy is built on fucking Adderall and Vyvanse right now. It's inescapable. Right now, the big discourse in normie world is like how New York State is limiting prescriptions, and like everyone is like even like all these industries from finance to like fucking commercial real estate and like fucking building development, like all these people are like, how are we going to function? You don't understand, like, you bureaucrat. But like at the same time, it's like, wait,
They
but
need the
we have
spice. They need the
yeah,
Yeah,
but
productivity in America will literally explode if
spice.
we limit the amphetamine supply. Yeah.
We'll
and
just
now
go
all
back to
these
smoking cigarettes.
and now all these people are like coming up with the stack where it's like, oh, I'm gonna combine yohimbine as the stimulant because it gives me the dirty stimulant feeling of fucking levanthoamphetamine, and then I'll combine it with CMAC, so I'll replicate dextrogene. If I do that as a stack, then you know what? I jerry-rigged my own Adderall. Haha. But the thing is, like, Adderall, I think that doctor, even though he's like a pariah right now, and like the big pharma's like, no, we don't want to give people 10 milligram IR prescriptions. We want to give them 120 milligram
Wait,
prescriptions.
is that what he started doing? Because like I always found the best way to use Adderall was like 5 milligrams 3 times a day.
Yeah, supposedly you're not supposed to take, according to this doctor who did, and one really fucking controversial, but 4 to 5 days a week with a 2 to 3 day break over the weekend. You know, so ideally it would be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you're off, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday you're on. And it should be taken in the mornings and no more than 10 milligrams, because after 10 milligrams you start to downregulate your dopamine receptors and also your, I believe it's the sympathetic nervous drive, or is it the parasympathetic? I gotta really look into which one it is, because
I
then
know
like
I've been meaning to sort those two out for a long time too, because it's such a credibility detractor when you get tossed up on that one in the middle of a rant.
yeah, but the thing is though, the I know like people who like they're unable to do a night run, like a run at night without having to pop an Adderall. Like they're so lethargic, so uh, I guess like nerfed, like you know, like fucked up that they need it right before bed to do like a workout. Like they need a half dose to
These
work
people need to
out.
be like reset. They need to be like turned off and then turned back on again. Like
Do you guys smoke cigarettes?
I used to. That's why I have when I laugh like this like smoker's cough, but it's been getting better. I've been treating it with something.
I find cigarettes to be a really good nootropic for me.
yeah. But the thing
Oh,
is, like, the right wing meme about they're not actually bad for you. Like, that's, come on. Like, are you being serious?
yeah.
Like, they are bad for you. They feel bad for you.
Well, earlier in the space, I was telling Lucas about like how they're going to limit the nicotine inside of cigarettes to like 3%. They're
That
getting
was the
rid
Yeah.
of.
stupidest policy proposal I've ever heard in my life. Who benefits from that? Who-
No, but they're just people are just gonna smoke like way more cigarettes than they
Yeah.
like would need to, and they're just gonna get more tar for the same amount of nicotine that they get in one cigarette.
Well, people have already been like chewing the Nicorette gum, and also like not to stop smoking, but like as like a nootropic or as like a
Dude, the
concentration
Nicorette
or
gum
energy.
is like $50 for a pack, man. It's
Dude,
like,
yeah, so my employer gives it to us for like $4 for like a pack of like 750 pieces or like something
what?
absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, like it's some super markdown. So I've stocked up on
You have to
like
sell
I've
that, man.
stocked up on like an unbelievable amount of this nicotine gum.
Yeah, and the patch is even more. People are like, oh, the patches are like almost like Adderall when it comes to like, you know, like the focus. And you know, I'm pressing doubt, you know, press X to doubt on that. But the thing is, like, true believers, you can't like, you know, argue against them on some level, and they're driving the price up. It used to be much cheaper, but now it's like fucking $56 on Amazon for like the pack of Nicorette gum, and the patches are also expensive too.
So what I do is the times when I use the Nicorette gum stuff, I take a 4 milligram.
I think what Lucas is trying to say is that
Lucas, you cut out again, my brother.
Yeah,
Are
man,
you
the
serious,
Bluetooth-
dude? I'm cutting out every time my phone screen shuts off, and I'm like, because it flipped me off of speaker when I did the Bluetooth thing and onto regular phone. I have to like hold it up to my ear to talk into it. So I hold it up to my ear and then it cuts off.
Fuck. Fuck.
Did I cut off again?
Yeah. It's all good though, dude. Like you're for most of the time it works. It's just like every once in a while when like like the last like 10 seconds we don't hear it. So don't get like too you know like don't get too like you know upset about it or like too like oh shit like nobody understood what I said. You're coming across more coherently than I am.
I had to leave. I had to go to a different room. I'm trying to eat some cured salmon, and my cats are sort of assaulting me. I've been fasting them for too long in an attempt to reverse the neighbor-induced obesity. So now whenever I break out food, they just fucking swarm. And it's not even like a nice a sort of like gentle begging, a nudging. It's like they're like viciously clawing me and trying to climb up my body and shit.
Lucas, what do you estimate your parasitic load is at right now?
My parasitic load, I don't
Yeah,
know. I think it's probably like, well, the thing is, I've been taking ivermectin recently because I got COVID. So probably low. We probably killed them all.
Oh, if you got COVID, dude, I know that people are gonna be like, "Oh, really, Israel?" They had some study out of Israel. Apparently, injectable vitamin D, because like it hits the bloodstream instantly. You get over COVID like 4 times faster, like something ridiculous. Like
No,
your body fights.
unironically, yeah, trust the Jewish doctors on that one.
Didn't
seriously.
Trump say that and like got
Yeah.
clowned and shit like at the beginning of COVID?
Yeah,
He totally did get made fun of for like injectable sunlight comments or something.
yeah,
And it works though.
and that's the funny thing. Like they had like a massive study of like 1,600 people, and like it proved like, oh yeah, this brings down in the elderly like the mortality rates, and in the young it gets them over it much faster. Like there's something like some sort of like downstream cascading mechanism where if you got like high vitamin D, you are like less likely to like get symptomatic COVID, and like it's gonna leave your system faster. So he fucking like said that, and then like they clowned on him. But then again, like there were a couple things that Trump said that were like 100% accurate, like the Germany comment, for example, where he was like, "You guys are too dependent on Russia," and now in Germany.
Yeah. Now it's over for them.
Oh, dude, it's so bad. This girl that I hooked up with in Europe, she's like texting me. Like, I had to delete WhatsApp. And I was like, yeah, you know what, fuck this. She's trying to like scheme her way into America because she doesn't want to be cold in the winter. She wants to like stay with me.
Dude, the Polish government play where now they ask for reparations from Germany for World War II. That was such a funny play to me, man. Because
Wait, Russia did?
Poland. They denied them initially. For years and years they had denied like Holocaust or World War II reparations, and now when energy prices get a little squeezed, you know, it gets a little more difficult to pay the bills. Germany, can you just 1.3 trillion?
Oh man, so like the funny thing about the EU, like not to get too political, but like as like an addendum, the whole concept of it was we want to make a United States of Europe, and like the central part of it will be German industrial power, and now that's completely like destroyed. They shut down the nuclear fucking power plants, and like gas is way too expensive because like their idea was, oh, we're going to like become like natural gas based until like we build enough fucking wind turbines from Siemens, and that plan is 1000% just like all fucked. Their whole economy is like fucked up, and like all these Europeans are like trying to tap their like American connections. Can you let me stay with you?
Yeah, I did see something that said that they're all going to die this winter.
Well, no, they're not going to die, but they are setting up like public heating shelters for people who like can't afford to heat their houses.
It's gonna
And
be a little brisk.
it's really sad what's happening in England, where there's like all these small businesses, because what happened was the boomers in England, they were like, oh, we want a subsidy, we want a bailout, so we can, keep our power prices low. But like all the small businesses, like these like tea shops and like restaurants, they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to close, and all that's gonna be left are like these like giant fucking like chains, and like, oh man, the selfishness of the British boomer, it's like actually like really sad but really fucking funny to witness. Hey, mate.
I gotta go now, guys.
30,000 pounds.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go on my tractor pretty soon too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to shut the space down, given the fact that I keep cutting out, and it's really humiliating me repeatedly here.
Oh, guys, before we go, Oak Pack 2?
Oak Pack 2 is in the works. Getting guest speakers.
Oak Pack 2 is going to be meeting in the epicenter of the country. Coincidentally, 2 miles away from my house. It wasn't my intent for it to wind up that way, but the lines just cross the way they do, and things go.
A cornfield or something. I don't know.
Keep me well, one of the things that I always wanted to do with like a Twitter meetup, right, was like they have like these like low cost like transport cities that are like really cheap to fly to, and not just that, like for example, the city that fucking what's his name, Warren Buffett, like invested so much money into in Nebraska. What the fuck is that one called? Omaha. Like it's super white.
Yeah.
It's like cheap to fly to, and like people have like a bunch of conferences over there. So it would be nice to do like a Twitter meetup over there.
I've heard they've got some pretty nice tracks too. Fun place to go and race some bikes.
Hell yeah.
And that Marriott Continental breakfast.
Also get a brain hemorrhage, unfortunately.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna tap out, guys.
Same here, guys. It was great talking to you.
Yeah.
It was great catching up. It was a beautiful time. We love you all. And how do I? Oh, here we go. 3,
Lucas,
2, 1.
number.